we want to play, it's a very high risk. So I'm always, if you watch us play, me, Brittany, and Maya, all three of us, we play this high because we're kind of like that other center back. We enjoy the ball at our feet. We want to break lines and kind of help our team to push numbers higher. So knowing how we want to play, I think we all agree that it's a bit of a high risk scenario every time.
Yeah, and then you come through, and then here I want to talk about this right here, because this is a mistake that I think a lot of young goalkeepers make. There is that they keep moving, keep moving, but the second that you see that Jessica's ready to strike, you're set. Maybe it's not the best position in the world, but you have to be set in order to be able to make an action.
Remember, I always tell you, it's better to be set and out of position and moving, because you can give yourself a chance to make that save. Yeah, and I agree with you, Mike. A lot of kids would keep running here, keep trying to and overcompensate, to go too far near post or not control their body, but having like seeing the picture, which is what we're talking about, seeing, okay, she's ready to strike, I've got to get myself set. Whatever happens, I got to get myself set to give myself a chance to react, period.
Because it's a matter of you're more balanced and you're in more control. Because right now, this right here is chaos to me. It's a matter of there's no control here other than I can kind of make that control within my body. And I'm just going to stop and hope for the best and hopefully make a 4+ save or do something.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing too, is that I want everyone to notice that actually on the action. So when she strikes the ball right here, let's see if I can rewind it a little bit right here. So when she strikes the ball, do you notice how the shoot, for everybody who's watching right now, notice how the shoot, she goes directly into the space. And basically you stay big and you stay in front of the space as opposed to going negative in the space, opening up that gap. I think a lot of goalkeepers here, they drop shoulder, they expose the gap when they go down, and then the ball just slots underneath them. Yeah. So I think this is a massive save on your part, Didi.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Saskia, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I just love watching this.
I'm good.
I love watching this because it looks like a save that I have to make in men's league because we lose the possession of the ball like this all the time.
I gotta very
Sunday league. This is a Sunday league. This is a Sunday league type of play. This is a Sunday league type of play. That is for sure. All right, so we'll move on from here. So, okay, so let's move on to this play right here. Oh, look at that!
That's just a little bit of tough love.
Just a little bit of. All right, so let's see here. We'll go on.
You brought this one out of the archives from last season.
I did. This is when you were playing over at Gotham. Essentially, the ball is played from the top of midfield. It's a flick on.
Breakaway Simone Charlie. I remember this one.
She's got a little bit of pace on her, but here's the thing. It's far in front of her. And how many young goalkeepers in this scenario right here, Saskia, shoot out and try to get to that ball? And there's no way in heck you're going to get to that ball, Didi. So instead, you come out, fast approach, but then you slow your arrival and hold. And it's just that little touch. It's a great reaction right there. I think.
It's like, I mean, you don't want to come flying out. We say this to young kids all the time. That's what she's hoping for. Force her to beat you. Like Michelle Akers always says, make me beat you. I also have a defender breathing down my neck and everything. So stand me up, because I have to make a quick decision as an attacker. I don't have all day. And if you answer the question for me by come flying out and selling yourself, then you're making it easy for me. But if you're controlling your body, being big, make her beat you.
Yeah, for me, this is like, from a personal standpoint, I rely a lot on my reflexes and also reading the game. I know Simone is very fast. And by the way, I'm so happy to be playing with her now and not against her. But I knew she was fast. And I'm like, okay, me being a sloth, I'm not going to get out there. But I also rely on my reflexes. And also in this scenario, this is a straight up 1v1. And it's just a matter of how much space can you take away from the goal frame and make her job more difficult.
I always tell young, and I was literally saying this to a young goalkeeper yesterday, a different young goalkeeper, not the same one on the positioning thing. But I was saying is that if they're making such a long trek like this, they've had so much time to think, you're kind of at the advantage, because now they're thinking about 3 different options by the time they get to you, as opposed to when they're in short space and then they just have to go on instinct type of thing. So you're kind of at an advantage if you just hold your position right here and let her make a decision and you react to it.
I actually remember this. I was out of the goal because it was a free kick. There was a foul, and I hit it from outside the box, and that's why you see me kind of come from the side of the screen.
Yeah, I was like, where are you coming from?
Yeah, we lost the 50-50 battle, and they countered right away.
Yeah. And then I love boom, and then just that touch. And again, I just getting that body there and just shooting it and just getting a little bit on it just to redirect the ball. That's all you have to do. And I think Chris Sharp over at Colorado Rapids, he always talks about effective goalkeeping. It's more about being effective in a moment than being technically clean. I think, and I used to be a culprit of this, Dee, is that I used to be, especially with my goalkeepers, is that I would be like, oh, it's got to be technically clean, technical. And it's great to train technique, but in the game, it's very rarely going to be technically clean. So what's going to be effective in the moment is so much more important.
I 100% agree with that. There are days where at practice, it's a technical day. That's where I'm going to focus on my technique, my positioning, and everything. But like you said, Mike, in a game, you don't have time to be like, oh, I'm going to hold on to this. Because your decision-making is a split second. It can be the best thing in the world. It can be the worst thing. Either way, both are talked about. So for me, it's whatever decision I choose right away, I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah. I want to bring this up right here because I think this was recently, right, against OL Reign, I think.
Yeah.
This was recently. So Tiara King, she's dribbles and kind of cuts back at the middle of the top of the 18. And I want everyone to watch we'll watch it. Let's watch it through basically. But look at this movement. Shoot, look at that shave and that parry. But let's go back to here because I want everyone to see the movements by Didi as she takes these little small movements, tracking, staying within the ball line and making the successful parry. So she cuts it inside. Look at these little movements by Didi just to get that touch. But if you play it in real time, look at the little steps. Shift, step, boom. Yeah. Just that little bit right there. And so many goalkeepers are flying all over the place right there. Yeah. And you just recognized how you just needed a little bit of movement to be able to get yourself not only the momentum, but also in a position with the ball line so that you can play it into a safe area.
Well, you guys are hyping me up too much.
I mean, we can show some goal. I mean, I can go on Wisecout and show some goals.
No. I feel good going into Portland tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, this one, I mean, this is also like we're down 1-0 here, and I forgot what minute of the game it was. I want to say it was
very late.
High 80s, maybe towards the 90th minute. I personally like this is huge. If I don't make this save, you're now down 2-0. Your team has a larger gap to fill. So this is still an opportunity for the team to kind of gas to the pedal and let's get going.
Yeah, and a save like that towards the end of the game when you're only down 1-0 also like pumps your team up.
Yeah, and these are the types of scenarios when Z King takes her touch off to the right. Like I've been at fault for taking that huge step and then them hitting it back to my right, and I'm screwed at that point.
Yep.
So I've learned a lot from see if you can keep it very small steps, controlled, and hope for the best.
Right, because if she cuts this back, you're on it. Your positioning's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's a great point, Saskia, right there in regards to her shape. Her shape is so balanced.
Fine. Doesn't matter which side she goes to, she's got it.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
We're here. We better be pumping you up.
What's up, man?
What's going on, bro?
How are you, man?
I thought I jumped onto somebody else's thing then.
No, just a little pregame stuff going on. You know, just got to keep it interesting for people who tune in early. So just had to get that off. There we got you now. Let me pull that
one
off.
second. Let me connect my AirPods to the.
No stress.
All right, here we go. We're in.
All right.
How have you been?
I've been good, man. I've been actually. It's getting better, but I don't know if you can see this giant bruise. That's what happens when you keep playing. So
I see that.
Yeah, I slammed right into the post. So it went, and I just woke up one morning and all of this was just completely discolored and like out of position and all that kind of fun stuff. So I don't know why I keep doing it. I'm stupid, I guess. I don't know.
You need to let it go, my man. You need to let it go.
I can't let it go. I can't let it go. You know what? I tried to let it go for a little bit, and then this guy, then somebody just roped me into playing on this random team, and then next thing I know, my team's back playing, and next thing I know, a co-ed team's asking me to play, and it's all over the place. So
sounds like you're needed. They must be short. They must be short of good goalkeepers on the West
shortage
Coast.
of good goalkeepers in Southern California. I love it. All right. Well, Saskia's having some internet issues, so we'll just get this going because I know you're on a time crunch here. So let's get this going. Here we go. Welcome to Inside the 18. I'm Michael Magid, live from a very, very early morning, Hollywood, California. With me momentarily will be 99 World Cup winner Saskia Weber. But in the meantime, we're just going to have to make do with the one and only Nathan Thackeray from NC Courage. Nathan, there are very, very few people that will get me up before 8:30 a.m., and you're one of them.
I appreciate that. That's listen. It's unfortunately got a packed schedule, so if you've got to sacrifice a little bit, then that's okay with me.
Hey man, we were just talking earlier just in regards to sacrifice and me sacrificing myself to football gods out here in Southern California because apparently there's a shortage of 5'8", 155-pound goalkeepers out there, so they need to have me keep playing around out there, and I'm just getting all bruised up. Maybe if I learned how to properly move my feet, I wouldn't be all banged up like this, Nathan.
That could be a reason. Let me ask you: is it indoor or is it outdoor?
Outdoor.
You play outdoor, okay?
Yeah. Indoor's brutal, man. Indoor's brutal. Oh man, that's why my nose was like this.
5'8" goalkeeper in indoor that's okay. In outdoor, when it's tough to touch the crossbar, I imagine, right?
You know what? That's why you do all those Nathan Thackeray plyo movements. That's why you got the hurdles and all that stuff, so you can get up there and touch that crossbar. Now, obviously, Nathan, before we kind of get into today's topic, which is going to be lateral movement, pushing off single leg activation, double leg activation, a little bit of a unlucky result for you all over at NC Courage, but still a pretty successful season in regards to your goalkeepers.
Yeah, to be honest, up and down season. We had a really, really positive start with the Challenge Cup, and we, really, we've had 16 new players come through the door this year. So to do well in the Challenge Cup early in the season and win that was a real positive for us. And then we struggled we had a little COVID outbreak where we had like 9 people out with COVID for a couple of weeks, and it just set us back, and we lost our rhythm, and the wheels came off, and we were trying to play a brand of soccer that was, it wasn't helping us. We were too wide open. We would score loads of goals, but then we were conceding goals on the other end. And our defensive structure just wasn't where it needed to be, and conceding just far too many goals. At one point, I think in like 4 or 5 games, we conceded like 15 goals, maybe even more than that. It was ridiculous. So we changed the defensive structure a little bit and adapted, and it really fixed it for us, and we got better results, more clean sheets. Had a really strong sort of second half to the season, but unfortunately the first half of the season let us down, and we just came up too short. I think we lost out by 1 point outside of playoffs, which halfway through the season we were in last place, so to just miss out on the playoffs is somewhat of a positive, but I don't want to sit here and celebrate 7th place finish either. So so up and down season, some positives, some negatives.
Well, obviously, in regards to like the history of the club and everything like that, like, it's such a successful club historically, that, for some clubs, 7th place sounds awesome. And other clubs, you guys expect a lot out of yourselves. But I will say the fact that you were in the playoff hunt until the very end of the season, massive testament to the resilience of all the players there, to be able to pull through everything. Sure. Plus, you didn't even bring up the fact of international duty. you had players leave for international duty, and
we had a lot of players gone for an extended period, and some big time players as well. Hey Saskia, but you can't use that as an excuse. We've got a roster that's able to compete with most teams in the league, and like you said, from being really successful to just missing out, it's hard to take. But we had a lot of change in the off season, from coaching staff to players, and it took us a little while to get going. But I think we've taken, in our reflections after the season, we've taken a lot of positives from it, and I think there's a lot of good to come, and we should hit the ground running hopefully next season. So just got to bide our time with it's like a 4-month off season. So I'm just like, I'm already twiddling. I got back to training this morning with Casey and Caitlin Rowland, and we trained this morning. So I told her I was on this, and she's like, "What? You're on it again?" She's like, "Are you the only one that gets on this show?" I was like, "They must be desperate.
Who said
Must be desperate." Casey.
Hey, tell Casey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Casey.
I think she was giving me stick more than she was giving you guys stick.
Yeah. Tell Casey.
She's like, is there not anyone better that they can get on?
But by the way, Nathan, it's so obvious that this is a morning show. This feels like at convention. Saskia's got her coffee. I'm waking up. I've got like an energy drink with me.
I'm outside.
You're outside. Oh, that's right. Saskia's got her valley life going on now.
I am. I'm a valley girl. Woodland Hills. Here I am.
Oh my gosh! Out on the porch. How's that move going so far? Just a bunch of boxes.
Going. It's still going. The workers are inside, the painters and stuff. So I'm out here.
Now, some people out there might not know this, but Nathan Thackeray and the entire Thackeray clan do a lot when it comes to boxes in October, because they do a ridiculous Halloween setup. So before we kind of get into today's topic, Nathan, you got to talk a little bit about that and where people can see all of it.
This. I gotta have
Shannon
here, but she's already planning Christmas stuff.
Oh yeah, no, Christmas stuff's too early for me. I'm late. I'm last minute at Christmas. Halloween's pretty big in our family. Me and my wife, we met on Halloween. My grandfather's birthday is Halloween. My son was born on Halloween. So ever since my son came along, we've just gone big every year. And obviously, the bigger we go one year, we go next year, we have to add. So we go pretty heavy for Halloween. So it's I turned my garage into a scare room last year.
Oh, nice. A haunted house?
And I was, like a haunted house. And I was inside. Obviously, it was one of the scarers. And my friend said to my friend, I was like, "I'm sweating in here. I need a drink. Like, get me a drink." He's like, "You can't come out." And I was like, "Why not?" He's like, he put his head in and he said, "If I told you there was 200 people lined up down the road, you wouldn't believe me." And I stuck my head out and had a look, and there was just a line of people going down the street. And I was like, awesome. I'm never gonna get out of here. Like, what am I gonna do? So it was good. And I think now we're sort of known as the house in the neighborhood that's the haunted heavy house on Halloween. So yeah.
I have a question. Wait, I have a question. Do you do those things where, like, the light things, or is that more Christmas, right? So is it just, I like the haunted house thing. So now I'm sitting here, my mind's like reeling right now going, what can we do? Like,
we have I have friends that come and they dress up and they help with scaring and stuff like that.
So
it is and stuff like that.
I gotta see video.
Nathan, you could be charging $100 a session in there.
I'm gonna put a donation jar.
Like, it is
put a donation jar at the bottom of my driveway.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Nathan.
Like, take away all the fun out of it and like turn it into an economic thing.
I've been taking this business course. I've been taking this business course. All I'm thinking is monetization opportunity.
Yeah. I retire from coaching just so I can work one day a year.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
Well, no, those Halloween haunts and stuff at the theme parks and everything. Nathan, yours is just as good. Yours is just as good. I've seen the pictures. It's unreal.
You have to understand, like, it's like, it traumatizes me. Like, I absolutely can't go. I don't watch scary movies. And I went to Not Scary Farm, and I still have PTSD from it. I swear.
I had one of those people chasing me.
But the more scared you are, the more they come at you. Right?
Oh yeah.
So then I was just getting stalked the whole time I was there. It was horrible.
Prey on the weak.
There's only 2 times, Nathan, that I've ever heard Saskia get too scared. Once is right now talking about Not Scary Farm, and the other one is doing demos at convention back when they used to use the old AstroTurf, and she would have to do power dives.
On top of the cement. Absolutely.
No. Yeah,
absolutely. I talk about PTSD. When Mike was like, let's go to convention last year, I was like, I don't go to convention. I was like, I get like the shakes in me going to convention.
Oh my God.
I used to like be in rehab for like 2 weeks after convention back then.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, let's get into today's topic, Nathan, because I know you're running low on time right here, guys. Today's topic, this is a really cool topic. This is about single leg and double leg activation. I know a lot of parents sometimes listen to this show, with their young goalkeepers and everything like that, Nathan. So maybe for them out there who don't understand what we mean by activations, what do we mean by activations?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think the word activation there's a lack of clarity sometimes with how it's used. It's not necessarily like a band work activation where you're firing muscles to get ready for training. It's more of like the footwork or the use of the feet to prepare yourself for a save. And there's multiple different ways to do it. Obviously, you can do it off of 2 feet. You can do it off of 1. You can do it removing 1 foot from it to try and make a save. So it's an area that you like a preparatory area where you try and create space for your body to save, where you're trying to increase power, where you're trying to increase balance. Activation can be seen as like when I spoke to the goalkeepers this morning, they asked me what we were doing this on, and I said that, and they were like, "Wait, you're going to talk about activation of like just getting activated before training?" And I was like, "No, it's all in relation to a saving action." So, I think that's important to clarify first. But yeah, it's basically how we use the feet to try and increase our ability to save or perform a certain action within the game.
Yeah. Just got anything you want to add?
No, it makes me think like when I watch a lot of young players, the footwork is so key here, and I agree. The activation, it's about the lead up, preparing yourself to make the save, and the footwork. And we see a lot. You ever see a lot of kids? They get that turn in their body, the little Superman dive and everything. And when you watch their activation leading into the save, it's because their footwork is wrong and they're pushing off their back foot, so it's turning their body. Right. So if you push your back foot, it automatically turns your body this way. And so like when people listening hear activation, they think, oh, just go, activating, boom. And that's not what it is. It is the footwork. And I totally agree with you. It's the steps, the dance leading into making that save.
And I think, Nathan, one of those things about that, and Saskia, I love the way you said that in regards to the dance to make the save, because it really is. Mm-hmm. It's that rhythm, and we'll see it later on when we're watching some of the session work and some of the game actions as well too, Nathan. But what Saskia brought up in regards to like that turn, I think so many young players out there are single leg dominant. They're dominant on one leg, and even when they are making an action on another side, they're still compensating with their strong leg.
Yeah. I think you're right, and it can influence both ways. It can influence your shoulder to overturn and now your body's facing the ground, or it can influence for you to lean back and now your shoulder's opened up, and you lose power both ways in that regard. And also there's a big thing, and for me it's a goalkeeping myth, and I've spoke about it for years and worked with other coaches that thought the same way as I did, and it was the old-fashioned power step as they used to refer to it as. And I think sometimes everyone thinks, oh, power step, I've got to go big, and now the foot is outside the body line, and the hands and the foot or the leg are occupying the exact same space, and it's now hard to save lower, and so your trajectory is up and down, which is taking longer, rather than a tighter bit of footwork where you can really now break through the knees and push hard. And on the clips for training, that was the exact purpose, was, all right, how do we control the upper body to make sure that the feet are prepared so that we can either break and push without any movement, or we can increase our lateral movement to then still be in balance and still be able to have the same impact in the dive. And I think sometimes, and there's some good and some bad in the clips that I've shared with you, Michael, and sometimes it's just once that step goes too wide, the width in our feet get big, it's very, very difficult to adjust our body to then save. So I think it's important.
Before we show it, and Nathan, I agree with you, that old-fashioned power step like I equate that to like soccer plus camp. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, how do we show kids? And it's like a step and a dive. But number one, it's too wide. It takes, when did you actually do that in a game?
Yeah.
Like, it's micro movements and the small steps to cover space to make an effective dive. It's not standing still, taking a huge step outside of your gate and diving. That, first of all, that takes, this is from moving, by the way. First of all, it takes too long.
So you guys matching bruises.
I have a giant bruise. I have a giant bruise on my arm too.
I have two from, I was holding something really heavy.
Oh
I just
my gosh.
I'm not like self-harming.
Mine's from hitting the post.
So no, and I agree with you. That concept of the power step to fly, that's not where it is. It's not where you get that energy from. You're too wide to make an explosive movement.
Yeah.
Let's pop up this right here, because I want to kind of show these pictures so that we see what Nathan's talking about here. First off, why don't you, Nathan, talk about the setup you've got here for the session design, and what phase is this right here?
This is just a technical activation and going into a session topic that is really focused on a dive in action, a low dive in action, to be honest, more than anything else. A little bit of plyometric and speed work to start, so we should see a power to speed and it be quick. And I'm trying to get them that they don't take. If you look at them, they shouldn't be taking 2 steps outside of the little ladder. It should just be 1 step, and that's their plant, and they can push. And then obviously just increasing the speed of the action, adding a second save, another increased movement. Should be tight to get around the mannequin, so that their footwork can't be big around the mannequin. It keeps them tight, keeps them moving. And they still have to have foot in the ground and being able to push. So this is very early in the training session. We would have done something before it, maybe a little bit of handling, just a little bit of movement, and we've increased a little bit here. But if you look at it, they go step, feet in place, feet in balance the whole time. And if you look at this, if you go back, I don't know if you can slow it down, Michael, or not.
Yeah, I can.
I watch it in slow motion, but if you look at the last one for the young girl that's in here, Emily is in there, so I refer to her as Emily or Eddie, one of her. If you watch hers, not this one, that's Caitlin.
Okay.
So the one on the other side, and you see her left, So you play it through, and if you can slow it down a little bit, that'd be great. On this one, you watch her left foot, and it pushes out. I think this is the one. Keep going. Can you play slow? Her left foot pushes out, and it now twists her body back. So because she steps into a pocket of space, we don't want goalkeepers to step forwards or step backwards. We want them to step and move laterally only, really. Once you go behind, like if you drew a line from your left heel to your right toe, that should be the most you really push or open your gate anyway. So in this, she pushes too hard with her left foot, which now rotates her hands back. And now she's saving with her hands on top of her own chest rather than still being in the same lateral step, and hands now can occupy space in front. So if you watch her left foot, once it plays through on the second save, you can see where it causes her a problem. Left foot steps out, shoulders turn, hands backwards. And now look at her finish shape. So
and
good and as bad.
This is kind of what I was talking about, that she took the crossover step forward with the left, and now she's rotating. And like you said, she's catching backwards and her hands are backwards. So if you see she comes around the mannequin, there's a crossover, boom. And now that's where her power is coming from, and it's twisting her body. And like you said, she stepped forward and she's not, and catching backwards.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things too, Nathan, is that a lot of times, and we talk about this, Saskia, all the time in regards to like when we're teaching type footwork movements, and movement patterns and everything like that to younger goalkeepers, what we need to really, really stress to them is just because you're doing one movement doesn't mean that another movement isn't important too. Because a lot of times when a young goalkeeper's taught the crossover step, they start dropping their shoulder and the coach doesn't correct them in that. So then they just start getting in the habit of whenever they need to move across quickly and do a crossover step, that they're dropping that power shoulder, as opposed to understanding they still need to stay forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with crossing over to cover ground quickly, but that final action needs to balance you, right? So if your crossover step pulls you off out of sync, out of position, body position, then the last movement should be a short to reposition yourself and balance yourself. So whether it's a crossover into a short shuffle or into a set, but if you're saving with a crossover, I mean, look, save the ball, keep it out of the net. I mean, if we're going to get really like, but if we're going to get really technical, you want to be able to do the crossover into a square and be able to attack the ball still. That's just,
I mean, that's why a lot of, before we move on to this real quickly, Nathan, that's why I've seen a lot of people when it comes to younger goalkeepers, they just teach them just to shuffle laterally first before they introduce any other type of footwork movement, because they want them just to get comfortable with keeping their shape. Do you agree with that at the foundational age?
Yeah, I guess, but I can understand why, because of the technical proficiency, and I think honestly, I think that the footwork is so technical, and some people can confuse it for a physical piece of the goalkeeper position. For me, it's not physical; it's technical, because different types of save and different types of movement need different types of footwork. So, yeah, I have no problem at the youth level or the foundation phase where you don't have to hammer it home too much, because you need some natural ability in there to help as well. But and we don't do this like everyday type stuff, but there is moments where it needs to be done. And if you look at now, we're just integrating the goal here to try and get them comfortable in the goal before the next progression. And again, it's very similar to what we've just taken. We've just pulled back some stuff and said, right, you've still only allowed a little lateral movement, and your feet should be working within this tight space. I don't want anything bigger than that, so that you can be really heavy with your push, and a big influence on foot in the ground for everything. So but again, foot in the ground doesn't mean that it has to be low. It can be high, and there's moments within games or training where you don't have your feet in the ground. But in this scenario, I want the interior foot, so the one that's closest to the ball, has to be in the ground, so you can increase the push. And the first save should be basically off two, so you're off 2 feet working, so your back foot should still be in the ground, so you can help to push. And the second save should be off of 1, where they're really extending. So if you look at Caitlin in that one there, the first one, as she hits and lands, it's a tight little change, so it can push with both feet in the ground. And then the second one is a little bit quicker action, where she's having to really increase speed and then power off of 1 because of momentum taking her through the save.
Hey, Mike, to take you back to that question about the kids, I think that, I think technically, but like you always know, kids are so literal. And so how many times have you ended up with young players and they're shuffling for 8 yards? And you're like, oh my God. And like Nathan said, there's a certain amount of just like natural athleticism. Just get to the space, get there as an athlete and gather yourself is what, you know what I mean? But you see those kids, and yes, you want to teach those technical sides. And I agree with him. It's a technical thing, footwork and everything, but don't take it so literally. You got the kid and he's like shuffling over here and shuffling over there. So just to go back to that question.
I want to pull something up real quickly right here. Actually, I'm going to take this off here so everybody can kind of see. Nathan, I have a question in regards to the giant hurdle, because this is something that I see from a lot of younger coaches out there. Is they put out these really massive hurdles, and these young, especially the foundational ages, these kids can't bound over these things.
Yeah, they don't need to. If you're at a stage of development where you don't have the physical capacity to do it, or you don't have strength or muscle, your muscles aren't maturated to where you can really push over it. There's no real need for it. You can maybe do a smaller one. I do this for 2 reasons. One, it's a power day for us, so we have to increase some plyometric power. So I want them, boom, like quick action hit. And the second one is that when they hit, they have to be in full control of their body, right? So if you think of like a jump set, and a lot of goalkeepers do it. So if you're going to a jump set and you land, you got to be able to shift again. So this is what that's for. So as you hit, you got to be fully engaged with the ground and be able to be in full control of even your upper body, not just your feet. So as they hit, they live action straight away. But yeah, it's more based off the fact that it was a power day for us, and we had to. I think it might be a match day -2 or -3. I can't remember. I've got it written somewhere, but. Probably a match day -3, to be honest. So increased power, but I like a power to speed little quick change. I think it's crucial. So if you have to increase speed across the goal. So it's a good way to do it. But it's basically just a plyometric there.
I also love it because this is one of those things too, Saskia, in regards to like a lot of young goalkeepers and even older goalkeepers don't understand how important the land is, especially when we're talking about like a high ball work and the actual when you're going up and then landing again, those sorts of things. So like a lot of injuries seem to happen on impact back with the ground because goalkeepers are out of control when they're moving, then they land, and then they're all twisted and all that sort of thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think that when we're talking about the hurdle, I think it's that activation. It's not starting from a stagnant position. You want to be moving. So whatever situation, if you go into a game situation, I mean, you're not jumping over a hurdle, right? But you are movement and in different motions. And if you're coming for a ball and you have to change direction, and so this like puts that into your body in this drill. Like it's like, boom, I got to move. You can't just like, boom, stuck in cement. Or you can't, like, even if it wasn't there, you can't just be stuck in cement and then try to move. So you want to have that action in your body. As far as I didn't really understand the falling on the ground question. I didn't really understand that one.
Well, it is also 10:25 in the morning, and for me, that's like I've been up for an hour.
I was like, I don't understand what he's talking about. Like
Nathan, I don't know if you've ever done a convention, Nathan, with like the first like session in the morning type of thing, like that. That's always
Mike.
Yeah, I think I've been the first session in the morning once or twice, to be honest, when I've presented that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Well,
so in fact, I think I was like one of the first ones on the first day a couple of years back before COVID came along.
So people hadn't.
So I got everybody when they were pretty fresh. Usually,
right.
if you're doing a morning one on a day two,
yeah,
no one's morning front.
What about the morning one on day 4? How about that?
Yeah. I think I did that on my first year presenting.
There is a day 4.
I'm kidding. But he said
Wednesday,
exactly.
Thursday, Friday. Oh, okay. All right, let's move on. So here's the next progression. So what we got going on here, Nathan?
So I've just adjusted both the hurdle and the speed. So remember that we've gone through a little bit of activation. We've gone through an integration of the goal. And now we're just organising a second phase for them. So now it's natural. So they're now producing the save, but still in a controlled setting. And then they have to reset for a live action, which is sort of unannounced. There's a potential deflection, unsighted with the mannequins. It's a moving ball. So we've gone a little bit announced off the first one and then unannounced on the second one, just to try and create more of a game picture, and then just getting good habits of saving and resetting, which is important for us in this moment.
Is that a deflector on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's one on both sides. Yeah.
Okay. Man, I would love to be able to have a setup like this. You can't do this at the local park. I'll tell you that. They frown upon that when you're trying to do this. Quick question in regards to one of the cool things I see with the activation as well too, is that we're speaking about the lateral activation, but there's also the forward and the negative back activation as well too, right, Nathan?
Yeah.
In regards to being able to come forward, attack that ball, and then drop back when you need a little bit more depth.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. But this was all big focus on the lateral movement and had to have power to push. So looking through sessions when you said you wanted to do this topic, I was like, okay, then let me look and see. I think I've got a very specific session for it. So if you go back and look at Mo's here, this is a good example. This is Marissa. This one here on the second save, which she should still have foot in the ground. Watch her right knee, and her right knee pushes over her toes, and see how she has to dip down? Look at that now. So her knee is pushing forward, which takes her body down, but reduces power. So now she's only really pushing from her back foot, which is not good, especially when it's high. She needs to keep that knee behind her toe so that she can really progressively push higher. It's difficult to see from this angle, to be honest, but when you slow it down, you can definitely see that she like buckles forward, and now she's just reduced power significantly. So this was a big area that she needs to improve upon. She likes to push her knees forward a little bit, and I don't know if it's because she's 6'1" that she's trying to make herself smaller, but it's certainly an area she needs to work on. But she just loses power, so her knees now close to the ground, but the ball's rising. And if you look at the distance between her hand and the ball, and it's close range, don't get me wrong, but this is still a save she should make.
Go back again, run it again, Mike.
Yeah.
Sure. From the very top?
No, here's fine.
Okay.
Well, I'm watching.
Okay.
I think on that save, do you think, Nathan, that she double setted too wide as well to lose power? So
yes, she splits. Yeah, look there, right there. Yeah, and that's why her knee buckles inside. Buckles inside, and she can't get back out. So now, for me, she's stuck in the mud. She can't get out.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why her landing, her jump set's gone too wide. So when she lands and the plyometric stuff, she's got to be in shape, and then her lateral movement is easy here. Like if you think about the heaviest part of our body, this is why footwork's so technical for me. Is if you think about the heaviest part of your body, it's the cranium and then the upper chest and shoulders. So if we shift that and we put that right in the middle and we push our legs out wide, we're using all our power just to get our body back into line. We have to keep our feet in a position where we can let that body lean over to push. Once you get the legs outside of that and all that weight is coming straight through the vertical middle of your body, you're in real trouble. Then that example there, Saskia, like you just highlighted, is that's that to a T. Once you get in that position, you're stuck. You ain't moving.
Yeah,
so I think just a little bit of a tighter shape and that allows you to go laterally. Then you can really push. That's it. That's very important.
I honestly never thought about that before. You guys just made my head explode in regards to the fact of like how heavy the head is, and then because I never thought about that before. Like the heavier parts of your body, but I never thought about that before. Like the heavier parts of your body need to be forward, otherwise your weight is going to be, it's going to be disproportionate. It's going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Now it makes a lot of sense to me. Now now head forward makes a lot more sense to me. It's only taken me all these years.
Mike, fall forward. We don't want you falling over.
My head like all the way out here. Is this just a different angle, Nathan, or is there another adjustment here?
Yeah, this is just the other angle from the other side, just to see it in a different. It's a different camera angle for myself as well, so I can see it. Just a real importance on the push, and you can see it quite often if a goalkeeper's pushing. So you see those two there, and you look at the difference. And if you go back to the one before it, Michael, you look at the difference in the first one, which is really controlled, right? It's a controlled setting. She's able to put her feet in the ground. She's able to push hard. Then the service on the second one, granted, it's a different type of service with a different angle. There's no footwork at all. I think it's this one. You'll see it. So that's a great push. She hits the ground and moves. That tells you it's a good push. If you watch here, her feet are set. And from that position, her feet don't move again, right? So now she's having to cover 2/3 of the goal with no movement. Well, we've just worked on the lateral adjustment to save anyway. Obviously, one's controlled and announced, and the other one's unannounced. So there's a big difference between the two, and that's important that people know that. But in this, I'm hoping that she replicates what we've just seen in the save before into this one.
I like.
Otherwise, she's not getting there.
Yeah, I like how you put that, Nate. You can tell with your body how you end up. Like, did you get the force, the strength, and the push behind it? Like, and I always felt like for myself, like I knew when I got everything balanced and my strength and push, because I almost got brought back up to my feet on my landing. Yeah. Like it was like the follow through was so powerful. And then when you don't, because you're just kind of like,
you hit the ground. You're
hitting the ground like you're
falling rather than diving. Yeah.
Okay, so now, now are you adding a hurdle? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, so the plyometric movement's still there. That's one thing that's consistent all the way through. Now we've added that we've taken away the footwork, so the speed. Now we've worked on that technically. So now we should see it. 2 announced services, so they should see where it goes, and then reset to a second save or a third save, I should say. The key part in this is you'll see some, I think, where they go double. If they don't save this one here, then there's an immediate recovery to the other side to save. So there's a potential that they have to perform 3 actions. But again, big focus is just on that lateral movement to push and touch, and then just be clean on the reset. So you see there. Oh no, never mind. It clip cut out. If they didn't save, then they had to perform a 4th action to make sure that they got finished on a save.
I have a real quick question before we move on from this right here. This looks very taxing, and obviously, like you're saying, this is a loading day, right? So you're trying to get a lot of load on them as well too. What are the prime reps that you would suggest for an activity like this?
I would say no more than 4, to be honest. Yeah, I would do two either side, and maybe do 2 sets of it, but not more than 4 consistently. You think they're making 3 saves in this action, and I would give them downtime in between each one. But I'd also talk to them as well. But like I said, this is probably a match day -3. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is, and it's important that we got a lot out of them. And if you look at Casey's not involved in this session as well, so there's 3 goalkeepers here that.
Yeah, what's up, Case?
Need to work. I think she's away with the national team at this time.
Kidding.
But it is a heavy loading day. There's a lot of plyometric movement. There's a lot of work. Whereas this is a match day -2, and this is a real focus on technique. And I ask them to. You see this first save, this little what I call a stick. It's such an easy save, and I would never ask them to save the ball like that. But what you have to understand is that this is a prep to the save, because I want head heavy. Remember, I want head to be loaded and then to be loaded. So now they go hands in front, head in front, and now they move. And if you look at their head, they don't come up and down. A lot of goalkeepers go up and down with their head. I want them to be here, so that they go hands in their set shape for the little stick at the start, and then there's limited movement. And then this is just a little technical adjustment, or they can do it from 2 feet standing, but small technical adjustment, saving from 2 feet, everything really clean. And it's very simple, but this is an activation on a match day -2, where it's a real focus on this technique. Obviously, are
those just small little cones? Are those just small little cones on the ground?
It's 2 poles.
2 poles, okay.
Yeah, 2 poles without the spikes on. So you see that position there is just to engage the head in front of the feet, and it gets the hands in front. Rather than just saying, okay, we're going to dive from this position, I want the head to be fully engaged in its position so that it's weighted forward. Because remember, the cranium is the heaviest part, unless it's empty.
Yeah, Mike, to go back to your question about the amount of reps, I think a lot of younger coaches and coaches out there think that if they're just running the goalkeeper into the ground, it means the goalkeeper's training, and it's not. They have 3 possible saves in the last drill, but you want quality, right? You don't want your goalkeeper so tired that you're training bad habits. That doesn't make sense. So it's hard activation, focused. I like that it's like maybe 4 at the most. And everything, but you see coaches out there and they're just like, they don't even tell. I always tell my goalkeepers, listen, this is how many you have, focus, and so on and so forth. You have coaches that will just start running and go. And, I think you start training bad habits at that point.
Yeah.
To go back to that. So
no, that's a really good point. I want to bring this up right here because there's a question from Jesse Goldman right here over at Pitt. How many total jump/dives are you doing on a typical quote unquote power day? And does this relate anything to what they're doing in the weight room outside of practice?
I couldn't give you the exact number, Jesse, to be honest. It'll be quite high, but obviously it's not a repetitive jumping action. It's a 1 jump, land, and then obviously saving action. So it's quite controlled, and it's not super taxing. If I was asking them to jump over 4 hurdles and then go, I think that would be really taxing on them. And this would be after a lift day. So they would do a lift. Match day -4 is a lift, quite a heavy lift, and then we'll do the plyometric, non-weight bearing stuff. Match day -3. Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's move on from here. So there's another progression from here, I think.
Yeah, there was one where I just added a little turn in. I think it's and this is really controlled setting. I mean, I'm asking them to make 1 save at a time outside of the little stick or a little catch. It is so focused on the one little piece of movement, and it looks really easy, but it's vital in the goalkeeper position that they're able to control not just their feet but their entire body in this save.
Yeah, and let's see here. So then, I think it moves on to. Oh, there. Here we go. This is what you were talking about here. So this is sidestep here. So
yeah. So now they're just
then
seeing
across.
the ball late. So I'm just taking their eyes. All it is just taking their eyes away from the secondary ball. So it's a turn C action, and now then there should be limited adjustments laterally because it's so tight. It's a tight save. So it's can they adjust their feet to fill it with either their hands or their knee as they hit the ground.
Man, I want a lot of young goalkeepers to see how small these movements are. I really do, because I think so many young goalkeepers, especially on like this movement right here, when we go to this movement right here that we're talking about, as the shift across right from here to that right there. How many times do they overcompensate and they take too big a movement, and next thing I know, they're like, well, they're way out one direction or the other direction. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Press play.
Okay. All right. Ooh, here's another question here. I was going to throw this in here from Evan Gaffney. Shout out to Evan Gaffney. Please tell us where in the world you're watching the show from. Would you do the same thing with this quote-unquote stick when working on higher extensions to help with the power of legs being a little lower?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
And Evan, I hope we answered your question.
It's a good question, but it doesn't need too many more words. It's literally just to engage their head in a lower, so they have full momentum in their body shape. That's all.
Gotcha. And is there another progression from here, or is this it?
I don't think so, because this was just a very specific. It's just quite a specific topic, and then obviously it's a specific day in training.
So let's do this then. Let's get off of that real quickly right there. And Evan, we appreciate the question. Thank you. I didn't mean to sound derogatory on that whatsoever. But let's move on to some game actions here. I want to show some game actions here, and I want everyone to kind of, get to see how everything kind of comes together in the pictures here. So the first one I kind of want to pull up right here. Let's see if everybody can see this right here. So I think this is the 61st minute against Kansas City Current. Shout out to them moving on in the playoffs. It's Kristen Hamilton dribbles in towards the edge of 18. Then she cuts it back, which is a very dangerous situation. Hits it to shot a back post. Casey Murphy gets a great little prep step and then a wonderful one-legged action to make the save. Let's kind of go through that again here, and let's start it from the top. And whatever anybody sees here, please step in. Whoever wants to start. Nathan, Susk.
Yeah. Yeah, so the clips that I sent you from in-game, I tried to give you a variety of different actions where their footwork changes in accordance to the saving type. So this one I think is one where she has to do a lateral adjustment and push off of one. I think there's some in there where they push from two, and then there's a couple where they have to pull their feet out to make the save. Obviously, the first thing is that she's a little bit out of position, hips a little bit overturned, but her adjustment here to fill that space is extremely good. You can see it if you play it through. So it's the same, just one little small adjustment and then a big heavy push off of one foot. But if that foot's outside of a body line, she can't get that push. So it's great. It's a great bit of footwork. She's a bit overturned, but that's Case likes to overturn a little bit just because she's got such long range, to be honest.
But I think a lot of younger players need to see it. Like she's again, and this goes back to the footwork and the activation. She's not trying to make this save from a stagnant position. She's not, and you see a lot of young goalkeepers just try to fly, I mean, look, Casey's what, 6'1"?
Yeah.
Okay. And she takes that little micro step, and that's what covers this. And it gets her the power to activate and get to this ball. If she tries to take this from a stagnant position, which we see a lot of, or not take the proper step there, she doesn't cover it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of young goalkeepers, Nathan, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, they don't recognize how much time they actually have, and they panic and they just push off because they don't realize that they have the time to take that little step to get across.
No, and that's why their ability to go from adjustment to action is so important, because sometimes the goalkeepers get caught still adjusting and not in action. And Casey does a good job, even though she's out of position. She's in a set shape where she's in full control of her body. So whatever happens, she still has time to assess it and then perform and make the save. So I think it's a crucial thing that the position is not. Your position is not always the most important. Actually, being in a good shape and being controlled is. You look at her position here; it's terrible. It's not good at all. But she gives herself the time because she's in full control. Like she's in full control right now, even though she's not in a great spot. So she gives herself the time to assess and then adjust and save. So I think the big thing is goalkeepers' acceleration to deceleration from adjustment to action is so crucial. I would much rather the goalkeeper be in balance than in a really good position, to be honest.
Tony DeChico used to always say it's better to be set and out of position than still moving.
Yeah.
He used to always say it.
I agree.
So.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this next action right here. Let's see here. Okay, so this is in the 61st. No, this is the 38th minute against OL Reign. Ball's played from the top of the 18 square ball. Whoops, that just disappeared.
Hi, Mike.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Ball played again. It's an early morning podcast. Square ball across to Jess Fishlock, who hits a one-time shot into the near post. Casey, and I don't know if the angle is.
This is Caitlin. This is Caitlin.
Oh, this is Caitlin. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very far away. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I'd give you a bad angle of this. Maybe see it from behind the goal. It's much better, but I couldn't find it behind the goal clip for you. She does the same thing. The ball's hit. She's in great position, good control, and it's just two little lateral steps to adjust, and she top hand, little touch over the top of the crossbar. It was a world-class save, this one, because it was for sure going in. But the small little, like Saskia says, micro steps that lead her to the save were phenomenal.
Yeah,
Can we just talk to everybody in the NWSL who does the national feeds? And if you guys could give an angle of the goalkeeper on frame, that would be wonderful.
And if you could stop playing it in 480 HD, that'd be awesome. My goodness.
I know. Yes, if you could do it in full 1080, that would be wonderful as well too. Because I can't tell. I think the blue dots are taking a shot on the white dots right now.
I think they're purple. Are they blue?
I can't tell. We can kind of see a little bit of what's going on right here, right?
It's not the greatest. It's not the greatest clip.
But you can just see the positioning, and you can just see that she's got herself set. And if she's still moving, if she's like, this is just a world class save. Top and it's going upper 90. If she's not set and it doesn't have her shape, she doesn't make the save. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you who does have a better angles of this. Bally Sports West when Saskia Weber does this.
We do use the same feed. Thank you for the plug, Mike. But I'm like, use the same feed. So that was a nice try. But yes, but you could hear me commentating if you like.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this is a little bit better. This is a little bit better of an angle here. So this is in the 9th minute. The ball served from the edge of the circle. Defender chasing inside. I think it's Elise Bennett.
Yeah.
Who hits a shot to the near post. Good position, good lateral movement to finish the action. Boom. Right across. Is that Caitlin again?
No, that's Casey.
Gosh. Okay. Well, all right, NWSL, you got to do a better job with the HT.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Okay. So we're right here. Great movement across.
Better position this time. Right?
Much better position this time, yeah.
Yeah, so if we start here, where we see that position. Oh, yeah. Wow. Much better.
I don't think you're seeing anything but Casey if you look up, if you're the attacker.
No. And I think that was a great thing.
I think what's important to identify here is that this is in one of the clips where she's not actually adjusting her feet laterally because the strike's got pace on it. So she doesn't have the time. If you notice what she does, she picks up her right foot and pushes her right foot inside. to allow her to project a little bit more, which is also something that's a great again, different way of using the feet. She's not stepping outside her body to get there, because you step outside the body and sometimes you reduce power if that step's too big. So this time she's lifted her foot up, taken it in just a couple of inches, and that's allowed her to dig her foot in the ground and really extend. And I think she's at full flight there. And it was a great save, but that subtlety in the choice in her footwork is excellent in this moment. And actually, the next one is Caitlin Rowland doing the exact same thing. If you watch this clip here again, we'll go back to that 480 HD feed. But
and it's also funny because I know this might sound crazy to people watching, but if she takes that step outside of her body, that millisecond and the pace on this ball is the difference between a goal. So that time it takes to take that wider step or something might be because of the pace might beat you. So I agree, her dropping that foot inside just to get the power to project. It's great.
Yeah, I love
Casey.
Look at that. Look at that. All right. I want to go. So let's go to this here. So this is the play you were talking about, Nathan. What, the Miramontes, Sinclair Miramontes. So she hits like this deep ball, but it seems like, so what happens here? Is it like a miss?
Yeah, then I think it miss clearance. It goes all the way through to King, and King hits it first time, hits it really well. But if you watch Kate's feet and see her, she picks her left foot up and moves it inside her body to then push outside. But it's the same as what Casey off of Kate, with Caitlin doing it from the other side.
Yeah, and I think what I love about this right here is that this is such a weird play, and you have to see her kind of have to jump into action and decide like whether like, do I come for this ball? She's just covering space because she knows she can't get to that ball.
Yeah, and defend
she
the goal
holds.
at this moment. Yeah.
This is a tough save because she's hitting it with that outside foot as opposed to that inside foot there, in my opinion. Across.
That's what I like about her step position. She's nice and tight, right? So I think, really, and that really allows. Yes, look how tight she is. Her set. Look how tight she is there. So she's not too wide, which is like you said, it's allowing her to make that adjustment to come back far post. You're too wide. You can't get there, or you just can't get there. You just don't have the power. But I like how tight she is right there. Boom.
And then again, I say this is such a brilliant save because that should be going in, but because of her coverage, because of her shape, and because of the way that she pushes and stays forward in front of her post.
Yeah,
that's a big time save.
A good point too, Mike. Is that her positioning? She's not too deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Boom. Let's see here.
All right, Nathan.
Look at that.
I'm not making the saves, guys. Nothing to do with me.
Look at that. Okay, so
but same.
This is Casey.
This is Casey, and now so this one, and I think another one afterwards is the ability to not use the feet in the save, and to be in control, to shift the feet, to get them out of the way, and now increase the speed in which the hands get there. Which is, you can only do it over a certain range, especially if you're adjusting and making a big adjustment like she's doing in the goal. This has to be in the bubble for you to save. Anything outside of that, you'll really struggle to save it if you do this. But this is another way of using feet in a technical action. This is Casey.
Yeah.
Just kick your feet out of the way.
Yeah, I love that, and I love the fact that you brought that up, because that wasn't even a movement and action that I was thinking about, but that is so. You're so right. You're so right about that. And again, that head, which is the heaviest part of the body, as you're all now letting me know, fully engaged.
The human head weighs 8 pounds.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then this is Caitlin doing the same thing, closer distance, pulls the right foot up and out the way to let her hand take the space here. Could she keep her foot in the ground? Yeah, she absolutely could. But this just allows her to pull it and push. So she's using her back foot in this moment. Her left foot's what's giving her the little bit of power that she needs to get there. Because her right foot's in the air. You see on contact, her right foot is in the air, but she's pulled her feet out of the way to try and make this save.
But again, look at her adjustment across the goal. Like for young goalkeepers out there, she's not making a huge step adjustment. She's making, again, micro movements. little steps, like a lot, boom, little step to get herself in that position. That's all it takes. You don't need, you know, you don't need big movements. You just need little movements to maintain so you can get set, go the opposite direction.
I love that. That is awesome.
And
right
back
there.
up.
Man. You got so many great actions here, Nathan. I don't know if
know.
we have time to go through all of these here.
I know.
No, you don't have to go through all of them. Just wanted to give you a variety.
Oh man. Well, let's start wrapping it up because I know you got. Do you have a session now? Is that what you got to do?
Yeah, I got training a little bit later. Yeah.
All right. I love it, man. Just no rest for the wicked.
No,
I thought.
keep going.
I mean, so do you guys aren't doing an off season, like a few weeks off or anything like that? You guys are going right back into it?
Yeah, well, obviously Casey's got has just come out of camp after the England-Spain game with the US, and then she has another camp. I think it's November 4th that she goes. So we just want to keep her turning over. It's not about necessarily teaching right now. It's just about maintaining.
Right.
So we're just getting her out and working. We'll do probably 4 sessions this week and again next week, and just lead her into the November 4th camp to make sure that she's really fresh when she gets there. Obviously no games and no team training, but it just allows her to like I said, maintain a certain level of goalkeeping quality.
I love it. I have a last question for you, Nathan, if you have the time here.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed, and I don't know, Saskia, if you notice this as well too, and add on to it, but I think a lot of times when it comes to the activation, especially when we're talking about the single leg activation on one side for a lot of young goalkeepers, I think it's more mental than it is physical. They don't believe that they can make that action on their quote unquote weak side. So they try to compensate by going with their strong leg and trying to do some sort of weird movement. Is that something you agree with?
I mean, if you're asking me, I just don't think it's trained. I don't think you're giving. No offense to younger goalkeepers out there, I think that you're overanalyzing that. I think that it comes down to we see the repetitiveness and what, like, even the sessions that Nathan showed us, you know, that that has to be trained. It has to be trained. And if coaches aren't doing that, then they are just going to go back to what they know. They're going to go back to their, you know, what's their strong side, what's their strong foot and everything like that. But it's something that it's technical. It has to be trained.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we talked about. Footwork is technical.
Yeah. I think there's obviously it's not something that you have to do all the time or do every day, but I do think it's important to work on certain things, especially if you've got goalkeepers that are struggling in those areas, just to give them a sort of a base to be able to perform an action. I think it's important, but it's not something that has to be done all the time. You don't have to start a session. It has to be technical straight away. You can absolutely go into an unannounced live session straight away. But if there's a period of within the week or you know a part of a training session where you can work on something that's a little bit more focused and I think that's your teaching moment, and you can really go in and reiterate certain things and work on technical actions. But obviously it has to be somewhat repetitive and a little bit boring at times and a little bit easy. But like you look at the second one there, the second set of videos that I showed you, it looks just boring. It's like, oh, that's not fun goalkeeping. Well, no, it's not fun goalkeeping, but it's an important learning moment for me to try and get across it within the session. And it's a very small part of the session, very small part of the session. So I think there's a time and a place you can coach it. Anything, to be honest, but certainly technical moments.
Well, awesome, Nathan. Thanks for taking all the time, man. I know you got sessions, and I know you got haunted houses to do and everything like that.
Tell Casey I said hi, please.
I will do.
Shout out to you with all the videos. I think you've also had put some stuff on the Union, and feel free to keep putting more stuff out there and engaging. And if everybody wants to keep doing that, guys, check out the free Union Soccer community on all platforms. That's the link. Kamara, I think you were asking in the comments section, you know, how we can help you. If you can get on the platform right there, we can engage. DM us at Goalkeeper Podcast. We're happy to help you any way we can. Start engaging, start sharing your sessions, start commenting on other people's content. I think Nathan has a handle on there as well too. What's your handle? Is it? It's Nathan GK or
I think it might be Nathan Thackeray 1, but I'm not.
Nathan Thackeray 1.
yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Well, guys, obviously, guys, so check that out right there. If you have a guest suggestion or a topic suggestion, contact at insidethe18media.com or at Goalkeeper Podcast on the Union, and reach out to us directly. You can reach out to Saskia Weber at Saskia Weber on the Union. There's a DM feature on there. I think a lot of people are not understanding the fact that it's just like Instagram or Twitter or anything. You can DM us right there, and we're really trying to get everyone to share over there. So I appreciate you all sending DMs to me personally on my personal stuff, which is mainly comedy, so it gets very confusing. But start sharing it on the Union, because that's where I'm going to be directing all of you right there. All right, I think anything else anybody else wants to add, or I think I'm going to have breakfast. I don't know.
I mean, you gotta stop that. It's 11 o'clock, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a grown man. 11
It's
o'clock
not
should be
20
fully
anymore.
functional.
It's 11.
It's 11. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Okay, well, I need to change my schedule. That is for sure. Hey, House of the Dragon was last night. I had to watch it when I came
most
home.
people are going on their lunch break at work. So
Look, I had a very important co-ed
All right,
seven-side
bye,
game that I had
Nathan.
to play last night. That I had to get showered afterwards and then watch the
All right,
show and then
let
wake up.
Nathan out of
All right.
here.
All right. That's all the time on Inside the 18, and
Thanks,
we are
guys.
out. Later, guys.
Bye, Nathan.
Yeah.